Hello, Tom here again with Devstream 5. Hopefully my mic is working. I'll check that. Yeah, I plugged it in today. Great. Off to a good start already. So today, earlier in the day, we had a Carpoon sort of community meetup. Anyone who was kind of making a game or wanted to play test or try any of the other games, see what's going on, we could do that. So that was kind of like a milestone to aim for in the morning. And I had a reminder to from playing testing another game to try to get rid of some bugs that I might not notice beforehand. So I'd spent a couple hours in Carpoon. I found if two trucks rip apart one car that had broken from some game maker update about structs, and I fixed that. But a few small things, no hidden crashes from the meetup. It went pretty well. It's just in the Carpoon Discord in the description below if you're interested. We're going to try to do one maybe every couple of months or so to kind of spur each other on making games. And oh yeah, monitor is still the wrong one. I think, oh, I got monitor over monitor. That's the problem. There we go. uh, anyway, so I wrote down some notes. Kovet had a pretty neat Unreal game with the car. I think one, I added in the, I guess I can show it quickly, added in the different cranes. I finished those up. The one in the middle, I'll show with the lines in place. It was basically I wanted, when the lines are in place, it looks like it might be better on diagonal. And there's a bug in Volcarnage Island when you have co-op with baby trucks that it that one didn't end the game if a team of two won. So that's a quick one to fix. I always try to keep the volume down during Steam Remote Play so it's easier for everyone to hear each other. Like, it's possible in Steam Remote Play to change it, but it's like one extra step and everyone's always kind of struggling to connect anyway. I'll throw in one more player for a wider screen. One thing after waves will be better Steam Deck support for those kind of UI for how to play the game. So yeah, it's not quite a straight line in the middle, and it's kind of, if I look close at it, it's kind of off-putting. But at the same time, I don't really want to draw it again immediately. Like, let's see, that one's going down. So that technically this one should point up. Really. I'm gonna try not to think about that too much. That post in the middle, I kind of made an easy lava effect by kind of erasing the bottom of it. So there's no need to mask anything. Erasing it with a kind of fuzzy feathered brush. Those claws, I have to add a quick little enable back the black line that connects to the white line. I thought it was a shadow at first when I was working on it earlier. And yeah, after that, I'm going to just be trying to fix up some of the waves today for this level. So that should have a camera to track it there. But those guys need to be a bit smarter still. Yeah, and I'll have to fix. Yeah, I thought I fixed the eyes at one point, but they kind of. Yeah, one of them they're kind of out of place. Oh, and I'll show the gold car after. Well, it's in the thumbnail, but I kind of chose a design for it to try to make all the frames. That I'll be working on during the week more, because that's kind of takes a long time and is tedious. It's definitely way too much time right now. I kind of created a placeholder time. Okay, now we're in a wave where they're just aiming for jump pads. Oh, he survived. This guy, will he live? Yep. Good enough. Acceptable. Oh no, almost acceptable. AI. When we were trying 3 and 4 player today, it's just so much chaos that it doesn't really matter what the cars do, sadly. This is just repeat of the gold wave. So there should only be one gold car in the first one. I'll update that quickly. Hopefully I remember half of what I'm saying. Yeah, that's where it could benefit from being a surfboard car. Oh yeah, and that 0 there. That there's got to be another number here. It's just appearing behind the cars. I had that written down. Yeah, and also the stock taker mode that worked well. I think one time the start button didn't work. Like if I harpoon it enough times and harpoon other stuff. It'll eventually not work. So that's one thing I have to fix up. Good evening, Oscar. Nintendo announced the successor of the Nintendo Switch and will be revealed in the fiscal year that ends March 2025 and Nintendo Direct for the month of June. Yeah, that was pretty exciting and nice to get such a huge... it's not like a reveal, but a plan kind of given to us to plan for in terms of coverage and whatnot, and like being ready for it. So yeah, that is something that the Switch 2 will be so far off. It's like, yeah, we kind of knew it would be then. The June Direct though, that'll be something nice to see the upcoming plan. Yeah, I'll move it over here. Just trying to nudge chat over so it's easier to read. It's like, what did I do last time? Well, Oscar, do you have any predictions for what you'll see in the June Direct? Yeah, it's a mystery. Like we know a very, very little. I'm gonna do something I forgot quickly and to share the live stream link in the Carpoon Discord. After that, I'll fix the two team bug real quick. I have a hummingbird building a nest outside the window again. I think it's about half done already. It's only been a couple of days, maybe 3 days. So that has been neat to have a third year of that. But this is the closest it's ever been to my view. Normally I have to kind of look like today it's right there, or this year. A weaker branch though. You must be concerned about squirrels and stuff going on it. Okay, so Oscar says Diddy Kong Racing, which I'm 100% on board with. Maybe Donkey Kong 64 on Nintendo Switch Online. I don't think I'll be playing Donkey Kong 64 again anytime soon. I'll probably play other games instead of that. I was thinking they had a new Nerol had a video about an N64 emulator and how it can kind of easily support ray tracing for different games and how good games like Diddy Kong Racing look, because they always show Banjo and stuff, but Diddy Kong Racing, especially in Future Funland with sort of laser shots going by, that might be pretty neat. So yeah, and Oscar says, but that's not all. Nintendo also announced a new game based on Nintendo World Championships called Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, coming July 18th. Yeah, that one I was excited for it, but then it seems like the execution isn't quite right there. But I'll see. Maybe I can be proven wrong. John Whitmer says, hey Tom, you coming by Low Life tomorrow? Yeah, that just depends on if I'm doing Mother's Day stuff at the time. I have to help do some gardening. It's Mother's Day tomorrow. If I'm at home, I'll be coming by. Very important to remember Mother's Day. No, it is nice to join in on that though and see how things are going and hear how a game is made with with a team instead of one person. Okay, stop making Tom feel pressured, John. All right, yeah, it's like yeah, it's like getting poked with a stick. I don't know. He didn't give a super chat though. If he gave a super chat, then I'd feel pressure. A nice big one. Oscar, for Dominican Republic, you celebrate it twice. I didn't know that, but almost forgot. During the marathon last weekend, they had one. They have different bands sometimes play music, and one was based off Cinco de Mayo, and so that was pretty neat. And it's like people are like, "Oh, it's Cinco de Mayo Day," and it's like I knew that thanks to Oscar. And John, you have to remember, I might come down and visit fairly soon too, so that is perhaps better than joining a meeting. So this crane, admittedly, I was gonna draw double the lines, and then I just looked back at these original cranes and it's like, oh yeah, I just did kind of half of them. That's way easier. And I have to remember, like when it gets in the game, it's so small nobody notices anyway when it's moving. What big changes? Are you talking about changes in Carpoon? That's just going over the feedback from earlier today. And not really a big change, just making sure two-player teams works, and then I'm going to be finishing up waves mode. Yeah, it didn't crash today, so that was pretty nice. I was helping someone play test yesterday, and it crashed on them a couple times, and I think they're way more experienced, but they added in a ton of new features, which I totally understand. So I spent 2 hours this morning going over it, and I found the one crash bug that was there. Oscar, I'm going to assume you didn't get to see the Northern Lights yesterday. That was pretty special to see it from Richmond here. I only ever at the cabin, and only sometimes have I heard that it might be able to see, but super late at night. Tomorrow is the first anniversary of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I thought that, yeah, it's Sunday. So that, I think some people are still mad about that game. I I'm still a little. The gameplay was great. The story not there. So, in my opinion, it's probably gonna be like Breath of the Wild for me, where I finished Breath of the Wild like long after I started, because it was so. It was a big undertaking for me compared to old Zeldas, and like Tears of the Kingdom, I kind of had enough playing it like 70 hours, so I'll probably go back to it at some other point. I want to go to Dark Souls and another Crash Treasure. So Tears of the Kingdom doesn't have DLC. Yes, fortunately it does not have DLC. There's some neat things it could have done if it was maybe story based. Oh, well, thank you for dropping by. Especially Andre from Game Explain. That's very nice. Today is definitely a long Carpoon day because I was up late yesterday and I woke up a little bit after 7 today to put in a few hours before the Carpoon meeting. One bug I noticed, the camera still skips on meatballs. That's something I'll have to smooth out. Playing Space Flux's Horde mode today for a bit, since that was a new update. That was fun. But then it doesn't have multiplayer, so I gotta try the old multiplayer separate. And as a Canadian, I am missing watching playoff hockey for this. So that's just how determined I am to finish right now. I even missed most of the Canucks game yesterday. So these little pads here, I hope they still work, but they're supposed to, if cars are going around, they push them back into the center. Or if a car touches it, it turns to go into the middle. I think I'm not going to find my answer here for that bug. I think that's going to be in the O menu, which is basically a game object. And That was when I fixed it. Last year, Oscar says, last year at the live stream, the producer of the Final Fantasy XIV, Naoki Yoshida, aka Yoshi P, I didn't know that, was playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on his Nintendo Switch, and it was viral in Japan. Yeah, I can see that. And I guess Final Fantasy Final Fantasy XIV isn't really direct competition with Tears of the Kingdom, so you could probably do that. This is one harder thing about it. It's where there's something that I can't just search for, and now I have to remember where where's the thing that controls it. I want to close some of these tabs too. That'll make it a bit easier to focus. So many tabs. I regret not making that copy now. I want to draw a Carpoon truck by a campfire later. Going for the be right back scene. Okay, so stock taker is a truck mode. It is not there. Team stock maybe. Yes. I watched that new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer the other day, or newish, and now I have the song from it, like that 80s song, stuck in my head. I knew I shouldn't have watched that trailer. Basically, here it's checking if players don't have any stock left. Like, I'll cycle through all of them. If they don't have stock, it'll change it to the scoring summary state. But this is only for one, so I have to make sure if it's team mode. So yeah, volcano level. There's two different ones. Let's make sure. Yeah, that part's right. Okay, and it's kind of checking first team, second team. Okay. So if one is 0, it'll go. Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was versus. Now, number of player data equals 3. This is one of those where it's not an array. It shouldn't be starting at 0 because there were 3 of us earlier. Oh yeah, it's baby trucks. So this is only versus, so we need stock taker. That's why. I'm gonna create a thing called mode check, and that'll be easy. Var mode check equals, I don't know, false. I got a haircut today, so I'm going blind from little hairs falling into my eyes. Da, 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 da. I'm going off memory there. That's risky. I saw in Steam, we're talking about Braid or Jonathan Blow last time. The anniversary edition of the game, Braid, is half off right now. So it's only like $13. That one, I think a lot of the commentary might be on YouTube, though, if that's all you want to listen to. Like, they've been releasing a new one every few days. Maybe it's not all of it, because I believe there's over 10 hours, but they're like at least 30-minute chunks, so. I'll say it's a weird feeling to get into visualize finishing a game, because then it's like, well, if I finish it, what do I do then? Obviously, take a break, work on another game, make an expansion, lots of options, but it'll be weird. Yeah, and I wonder if pressing that release button is nerve-wracking at all. Probably not too much, because probably not too many people care, but I'm also getting ahead of myself thinking about that. Am I going to need more batteries? I think some of the batteries were dying earlier. It's hard to kind of... These are still the old 360 ones. I think... I always do the mistake of maybe rushing to an event, so I always kind of damage them in my backpack, because the backpack's so full with like a laptop and different controllers and stuff. So I have two newer 360 controllers and one 8-bit Duo. I'll replace them soon. Okay, testing this level. Stock taker mode. Wow. I'm gonna have to... That start button's gonna have to be fixed. Like, that would be a bad impression. Someone wanted to play the game and that happens. So I heard something funny by the Heartbound developer who said when you're kind of... It's something called rubber ducking, where even if, let's say I wasn't streaming, but like talking to, I don't know, talking to this Dragon Quest character or something on my desk, and I was like, I have to solve the problem of this mode not finishing. And just like, how do I do it? And asking the question kind of makes it so it's possible to think of an answer. And that's something I never heard of before. I usually hear the go for a walk or like get away from the desk. And yeah, maybe that's why I got through a few problems in one live stream at one point. These guys, I had one where I harpooned it and it no longer followed me. It might be some weird edge case that doesn't really matter. Also, this reminds me that SUVs weren't showing up in waves mode. And that's something that, stuff like that, when it happens, it's like if it's not obvious, it's easy to forget, then like a long time can pass and it's like, what? Oh, did I run out of time there? You'd be like, when did that go away? Pressing 3 for anyone who has the beta version of Carpoon is the secret way to add way more time. No, I do not want this level. This is not a team level. The way they kind of move first now. What? I must have changed it so any claw works. Okay, so it dies. Oh, there's also a Z depth issue up there. Just, yeah, tiny. I never noticed that. That's a new. I shouldn't have looked so close. Okay, so at one point there's no O player data, but it's finding stock. I think this is for versus, and it's got to be different. It has to be different for stock ticker mode. Yeah, here's stock tickers. So technically it just needs a different one for stock taker team mode. It's a special case. I'm back in a second. Super riveting making coffee. Okay, so I just want to duplicate this function so I don't have to worry about messing anything up. Kettle's boiled coffee, my apologies. Probably, because the baby sharks, there's only, yeah, I think there's only one player data per team. This is kind of like their soul or spirit. So I probably want to do this. So it only really matters for 3 players. So now we want to check what we kind of do normally. So even in testing today's stock taker, it kind of still ends up like there's only like 1 extra car at first. There's no one that usually dominates it. It's not, didn't quite end up how I envisioned. Okay, I kind of go through it and I check if there's only 1 type of color for multiple players, but that might work with the same team number. Like, in my mind, this technically should have worked unless the team number is different. I'll just check my stock and my team quickly. I'll just set up the debug code text. Now I think, do I have a million other variables showing already? I just want to test this to make sure if I actually program it in, it's set up already to work. Is there an error? No, it's compiling. Kind of. Oh, it's missing this. There we go. Change the date up there. It's April 16th. In the Minecraft font, I should really update that. These 1-cup coffee things are pretty neat. They're like pretty tasty. Way better than instant coffee. Oh, I crashed it with that. Great. Okay, my stock's only in player data. My player data is there because when the player is crushed, it still stores all their stats and the controller and like lives. That turn speed's gonna get in the way, I think. There's definitely no stock set yet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Team 1-1. It's gotta be for a stock taker, not co-op. Okay, all their teams are 1. Well, these guys are 3. Well, that should work then. No, I need number of players for that. I'll change the number of players alive. That'll make more sense when I get back to it later. This just kind of sets the default team to what doesn't exist. Then we'll kind of lock one in once it finds a player. I don't think I need this anymore. It's just like, oh, you found... Found something. We'll just add it in because there's no stock anymore in this. Fixing little things like this later should make it easier when kind of going through the finishing the game in waves mode, like keeping up with this. Kind of like John Romero keeping shippable code and makes it so it's not as insurmountable at the end. So that should add a player for anyone that has a team. Basically, it filters through. The first time it'll say it's a -1. Well, probably not. And well, this is like when when it isn't set yet, it'll set the team number, then it'll filter through, and then if it finds another one, it'll take care of that. So that should work. Knock on wood. Gonna feel bad if my brother calls and I can't answer the phone. Haven't talked to him in a while. You would think with everything being on the internet it'd be easier, but not always. That shadow is a bit pixelated. Ah! Why? Oh, 10 player data still. I want to say this because even though it's easy to say, oh, I know exactly where that is, I can quickly forget from experience. I think it's here. Yeah, I didn't change it to 10 player alive. No, just 10 player. Where? Might not last long today. I hope I get second wind just after 7. It's starting to heat up finally, which does not bode well for working during the afternoon. So it won't even be that hot out in Vancouver, and then guess all the places are made for warmer winters and older ones without air conditioning yet, so they're now getting warmer in the summers. Where is this one? Number 51? Oh, I see. I missed it. Yeah, yeah, that looks like all of them now. Very glad Carpoon compiles quickly, although maybe if it took a bit longer to compile, I'd be more careful. Thankful the batteries are lasting. Okay, I will... So that's one thing I'd consider. Should it be any claw? Because technically I could just... It's kind of pointing me to go to the other one. Pretty sure I did that so it would be easier to understand. Oh, the baby truck was following the car up up the to the truck. Wow, that killed it fast. It didn't even wait till it was dead. It's like, nope. Well, that's good though. I'll try it with the other one. No, that should fix it. So it's an interesting bug though. The player goes up to the volcano. The baby truck follows it. It doesn't take into account its height. The baby truck has not yet learned, or the truckling has not learned about Z depth yet. That's great. I kind of write a thing about I keep track of days when I finish stuff when I remember. That way, kind of look back to see what I've been done. There was a bug earlier today where going with the rumble pads, that hadn't been set to the volume yet, and I noticed because my volume was cranked up. Well, the Carpoon volume was super loud. So that would be a nice one just to grab it anytime I notice that again. So this is a pretty big bug. There's one where I'll show because of the addition of waves in verses. It's kind of funny what happens. It's not like those recent what would happen if you make something 1,000 bugs. That still works. That's good. So 2 trucks versus Final Destination. No. See if he's off. Let's go. And it's just the waves potentially counting down because there's no cars ever. And it goes through all the waves and then it's done. So I want to allow it so you can have. It's like missing a mode if you don't have it where it's just players against players. Sometimes when I exit now, it gets a error bug. Not usually in the game though. If you do have the Carpoon Steam beta key, I updated it this morning for the community meetup, so we'll have some of the new art in Volcarnage Island. Can tell you right now, probably I might update it again soon once I go through these updates. I also had a request for a louder horn, so I'll do that real quick. I made it more like a meep meep. I'll see if the sound can be better. Well, it can just be louder instead of making a new sound. I think I will take the easy way out and just search for. Okay, this is an old one. Here it is. No, that's not when it makes the actual sound. That's just a fake way to get the baby trucks to follow it. So there's no gain there. Oh man, none of these have the audio multiplier. That's bad. think this is out of 100, but I'll double check. Oh, this has gain too. We can go. Can overload that function. So now I have an easy way to just reference the overall volume. Here we go. This is what I have to go and add one time to all the different sound effects. Let me do. I'll try 5. Let's see if that breaks it. I kind of hear no difference. See if Game Maker Live will work today. Invalid character. That's interesting. That's why it's not working. I might have to reload it. Gonna try to fix this shadow while I'm at it. -10. Weird how the menu flashed there. Okay, that's louder now. Let's check out the shadow. Cant horn honk before the match starts. that one is... Shadow has to move right. So it's going minus 80. It's... It's like adding... What if... I don't know, I'll go 160. And now for the horn honk, I'll add... the volume, see if it still makes a difference. I'm not sure. Not sure if that shadow changed. How loud? That's pretty loud. You know, time to see how loud the horn is now. A little bit tinny, but no, that fixes the problem. So great. Okay, well, thank you, Yerk, for the suggestion. Something tells me that's not working at all. Oh yeah, is it here? Well, that was that. Gold car. Yeah, there's the gold car idea. I think the eyes are goofy. This would have been a bit smoother. That's just a car for reference behind it. And I added some glow in one version, so that's kind of the idea for what the gold car will look like in the end. That's just one of 9 frames for it. Could probably add some more sparkles all around it when it's going. Pretty sure I'm going to fall asleep super quick today. So now I just have to find out why I was in versus mode, and then if I get that done, I can go on to working on the waves. I did have a few more little things, but they're not too entertaining. I know this isn't the most entertaining already. Very tempted to start playing What the Car. So I'm gonna have to go back and take a look where waves are being made. If there's no CPUs, like, don't create a wave and treat it back the original way. Let's head over to the starting room for player select. You can see how I don't even remember why I have the art appear behind the cars now. Maybe that's so I could easily modify it. I'm not sure. Like, I was less familiar with layers at the time. I wanted this dice to be like be able to choose a random mode. It's not essential. Okay, well, here's the variable we need. Not that exciting of a variable. Doesn't even have to toggle verses. I don't know why it does that. So through the level objective, eventually I think it creates the starting room. Let's see. Let's see if it creates the waves here. In there's part 1 and part 2 for it kind of. I think all the players are destroyed and then recreated. Only a few things like the game object and the menu object are global or persistent and keep in the game. And there's something I had to do for some settings because they were getting overwritten. Like, I had accidentally been saving it to a special variable like the score, and then I was trying to create another score to save for a level, and that was being lost. Because Carpoon, every time you go back to the player menu, it resets the game to try to not destroy the memory. Here's part 2 where for some reason at the time I had to keep everything the same start point. And otherwise, yeah, the game would break. It's probably something easy that I just haven't figured out yet. Okay, well this, I'm gonna just start searching for waves. That's easier. I probably in the waves object I can just check if the menu object allows cars, and if it does, continue. If it doesn't, just delete itself and don't set the alarm that triggers it. Excuse me. So one thing with NHL playoffs, I think that New York game went to second overtime. I always hope to see, and I only saw a little bit of that. I always hope to see one game that goes to like triple overtime. I always love just the one super long game to see that. That's always my hope. But they've been so quick lately. The Canucks game I think ended 5:40 into it. A lot of them have been within 2 minutes. Like they can go so long without scoring goals, and then overtime hits, and it's like a weird mental reset that happens. And like fresh ice. Like, and by mental reset, I mean maybe it's kind of hard to focus, something different for the players. Maybe the pressure. Okay, so if it's completed, and that's co-op. Co-op, I'm pretty sure you can never have no, it always sets it to cars, but here I'll go bump. No, I'll go and hope the menu object always exists. I'm pretty sure this is going to break something. Wait, don't create waves if car setting. Fingers crossed, that's all I have to do is not create them. After the longer day today, I don't look forward to not being able to do much tomorrow. I'll turn the volume down a bit again for the stream. There we go. Might have to redraw that controller to be a bit sharper. Just use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator to have clean vector lines. It's just like compiling the game and doing something is sometimes like if you're in a house going upstairs to do something, and by the time you get upstairs you forget 100% what it was you were looking for or supposed to do. It's just that kind of break in time. Oh man, I might have made it work. making it work. Can I grab that? Yes. Can I move it? So the flower box is a bit easier, so I didn't want this to go nuts when players do that. Garbage truck box just explodes. My screen right now is 1920 by 1200 for 16 by 10. That's always been one problem for Carpoon's development. If I set it to 16 by 9, it actually looks stretched on my screen. I had an unknown call from area code 221. This is, oh, it's always important to make sure the rope cut works because that's not tested too often. The eyes are kind of staying closed. That might have to be fixed. It's not the biggest deal, but I don't think that's how it's supposed to work for it to stay that long. It's supposed to be more like a blink. Okay, well there's that. Now, does it work normally? CPU's off, let's see. I think that's that bug where it didn't actually change the mode. Like it got close, but I didn't hear the little sound effect. There should have been cars there. Yeah, that's just the menu setting messing up. That'll be a longer one for another day. I just can go back to how it was, where I didn't have to hold the harpoon on it, even though it kind of trains player to hold harpoon. Or it could just be some tiny little thing that it's working. Hey, there's SUV again. That what I don't remember seeing that earlier. I thought they were gone. You can press forward to quickly half the time. Trophy placement, that's one thing I always have to check. It's probably not perfect yet. Music stopped. Music kept going today during multiplayer, so that was nice. Hot dog cart is not a CPU. I'll just check the shadow quickly if that moved. Nope. I wonder what's wrong with that. It's not a big deal. It's probably something super easy that I'm just missing, but it's nice to fix the versus bug. Should have instructions for the easy reboot button. Oh, there was one thing that was pretty annoying earlier. If a baby truck is stuck on a rumble strip, it'll keep making sound. You know, that's. I think I'll just fix that UI bug. That's the most critical one. Let me see. This is kind of a nice thing to do, just to tackle a bunch of small bugs at the same time. Well, you have the rumble thing. No, it's like this. I think it was this. Okay, Vincent. There's a player there. I don't think instant place gives the player. No, this one returns it. So, this is easy. We'll go. They just say it's no one, but I created this for like a second kind of check. What does it have? It has if it exists and it's not no one. What does instant exist? This might be overkill. But anyway, it's helped. Having things not exist and checking for them is used to be a very common way to have a problem in Carpoon. Especially with the way the ropes connect and the harpoons connect to each other. So if player over bubble dot is greater than else don't make sound. I'm pretty sure that's not an absolute value thing, but I'll not take a chance. Yeah, and just the UI, I think. My friends were saying today the sound is good enough Carpoon, so I'm glad I don't have to worry about it too much. So the menu code It's so long in one section. I kind of go to my vertical monitor, and I'll see if I can figure it out here, but maybe not. Okay, go to the game over scoring summary, which should really look more like four swords. But that could be something I can update at any time. It's not integral. Four swords had it so they stack and they keep going up. Like if it went above the screen, it would follow it. So I think it was this versus mode. Let's check here. Basically, I have to draw the score after the numbers. How long is this? Yeah, score, that's that global variable that I actually typed in. Oh yeah, there was a bug on the crane where the cars kind of speed up and it was making it like the rumble effect is based on their speed and that was going. That's something I'll have to cap later. There's a lot of the word score here. I'll just see when it gets drawn. Okay, so drawing the player number. Probably I can search draw text transformed. This goes on for so long. I should, if I have to change it later, I'm going to break it into more little functions. Oh yeah, I have to draw more art for the different things like the hot dog cart and the SUV in the scoring summary. People wanted that. I'll have to add that to the Trello. Draw a score up higher. Thanks, self from November 7th, 2019. I want to bring it to the other screen quickly just to. This is not as entertaining up here. Have level art. Man, this is that's long. This is crazy where I can't find where the score is being drawn. It is that terrible. I'm going to take a quick look again to refresh my memory. It's that Deadpool song again. That shouldn't count as points in co-op. Shouldn't. Only 5 points for the hot dog cart. I feel like the horn honk could be a little bit better. Like you see an animation of it spreading out. Okay, well let's just... It's only drawing one of them, that's the problem. It's not drawing the first place score. That was co-op too. I'll jump to the co-op code. So there it's drawing a shadow. Decided to just draw individual score again. Yeah, that's where it's kind of broken. Draw up here higher. That's kind of a boring bug. What if I just... I'll see if that gets rid of it for now. See, my scoring summary is kind of broken up into different scripts for each mode, which is too bad. A lot of repeat code. We gotta wait. That's too quick for the time to go down. I think I'll have to double check and maybe make it. I thought it was 35 seconds. No, it's still there. Oh well. Let's see. Let's see the time quick. Maybe that's something I could change. Okay, how much time? 23. So that's probably supposed to be 25. It should be like... that should be at least 30, 35. That's... So... wave 1, you add 46 seconds. I have to see this. Does it add 46 seconds after a successful wave? Oh, Canada geese flying outside. Seen a few goslings. Kind of added 30 seconds there. Might let me see a potential other place where it's being set. Okay, that's also Home menu alarm 1 is the actual thing that stores the time. Yeah, the hardest thing can just be finding it sometimes. It's updating the version number. Let's just search menu.alarm1. I used to set a time there. As for cars that slowly unpark. Game. Oh. There's too many. What? It's like a chicken and the egg situation. That's gotta be. That's gotta be versus mode. Okay, one of these somewhere will have it. Oh, Oscuri says, a few days ago I watched the Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance Direct Showcase with all the details I'll be adding into the game coming to the original Switch game, or comparing to the original Switch game, and it's coming on June 14th. Yeah, it's pretty soon now. So how long was that showcase? Because with the Switch 2 news, that kind of overshadowed it. Around 13 minutes. Yeah, that's a pretty good length for a showcase of a long RPG type game. I think you would cover everything you want to without kind of taking too long. No need A mini direct, yeah, mini direct length. I mean, that's the beauty of these digital showcases. They can be anytime they have to be. Short and sweet, sometimes good. Is it hidden in one of these alarms? Well, I guess I can go to the wave and just make it a huge amount of time. Then I can take another wave if that time's different. Okay. So that one's not added to the overall wave list. This one isn't necessarily added. Why not? That one, that's maybe why it's been feeling different. Maybe, oh, did I want moving cars because players didn't know what to do? Maybe. That one floated a little bit. Okay, yeah, time's correct. That's great. So that means in the past I'd settled on 41.5 seconds. I think that's enough of the fixes today. I just want to take a quick look at what's going on for auto works. Then I might end it today. I might just save my energy for another one, perhaps during the week, because of the community meetup earlier today. It's been a long day of Carpoon mostly, and haircuts. Oh. Okay, so that's our drop a car in lava to start off the game, to show people how it works. This one's not enabled yet. Gold car, this one's done later on. Four Roman cars. And they're on two small loops. I feel like I should have wave one reel here. Oh, excuse me. I'll change. I'll try decreasing the opacity on that green around the start ring. Then I think I'll call it a day. Depending on Mother's Day tomorrow, I should. Oh, that crane could have better shadow. Okay. Did I comment? Oh, I commented out the shadow. Because earlier in the day, it's like this huge shadow covering the whole map. Well, I was trying to figure out the lines. It was like completely covered in darkness. Ooh, oh, live! If I add enough cars, it doesn't matter if they kill each other. I feel like crane could be almost a little taller, so I could probably move it up a bit to give it a bit more breathing room between the top of the eyes and the claw. Aha, the gold car must have died. So yeah, this one needs a camera tracker. That way it's coming in right now and people don't see it. Darn you, car with AI to go to each jump pad. Aha, you killed yourself, which is bad, but it means I didn't program it right. got to a point when I can clearly know which wave, what each wave was in Park and Panic. And in Volcarnage, I like to try to just hit that point here. Maybe do those waves that time doesn't add until you beat a certain amount of waves, like enemies come in on a timer, or when you defeat them. That way, I think that would lead more pressure to the time counting down. That sounded like an SUV. There shouldn't be an SUV dropping when there's only one player. No, fortunately, just the sound. Haha. There you go. Last gold wave. I find the feedback, even though you kind of hear it, it's not the best when the hot car is kind of crashing into you. Maybe particles or something coming out would like make it more obvious. Okay, let's fix. Let's change that green and the claw having that little black line, and I think that'll be enough for today. A lot of progress in Carpoon today. It's just putting in the time at this point. Until I get to maybe fixing the cameras a little bit more difficult for Steam Deck and adding leaderboards. That'll be a bit of learning. Because it didn't look like there were many tutorials for that. I just commented out the black line. It was using rise over run. Very simple math. Did I delete? I hope I didn't delete it. Line from the claw to the rope. Now player select, head there. Find out which one of the several objects has the green ring. It's kind of a script because it's drawing a bunch of triangles. Script that I found instead of programming it myself. Health ring, okay. So that means you're an object. There you are. Oh, are you drawing? You drawing here? Image alpha. So this is all stuff above it. Where are the actual? Oh, the pie. Okay. Something tells me that is not working. I'm gonna try 0. Hello, HBR Shredder, how you doing? How's your weekend been? Are you all ready for Mother's Day tomorrow? It's kind of a big day. Okay, that definitely did not comment it out. And I guess how's your video coming along? A few tornado. I didn't know they had tornadoes in Florida. I know there's like really bad weather at times, like hurricanes, I believe. Universe doesn't want me to finish that video. Well, as long as the video doesn't get, you know, as long as the data is intact, the universe still wants you to finish the video. So, no, sometimes near in BC, it's in rare cases, like at university I bike to, there's like a forest there, and there's all these trees taken out. We had like a rare case of tornadoes through that in Stanley Park. But that was like once out of all the time I live here. And Oscar says, next weekend is the end of the World Splatfest and Splatoon 3, and then on May 23rd is the release of Paper Mario 1000 Year Door Remake. Yes, we got that. The very deep thinking Splatfest. So, no, that is going to be a nice bump in the release schedule. Of course, with all the big news last week. Well, thank you so much, Hayden, for dropping by. I hope your power... So is your power back now, or is it still out? That's like all your freezer is gone type situation. Oh, that's bad. Well, let me know when it's back on and you need a break from the video and we can play Dark Souls. So since Friday at 7 a.m. Yeah, that's a long time. My friend a couple cities away in Langley, he had it one time where his power was out for 3+ days, even though like the mayor lived in their area, and he had to throw out all his food. No, but yeah, it's like whenever the power goes out or water goes out, it's like reminders of things we kind of just take for granted and they're really important. It's like camping kind of reminds that. No, but you'll be energized for when your power's back on to work on the video. Hopefully, not worn out by the power being out and having to do different things. Yeah, see, it's just starting to get like a tiny bit hot here. Yeah, like I just over 20 degrees Celsius, which I think is maybe 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It is not humid. We are very spoiled here for the most part in Vancouver, except for the fact that most buildings don't have AC unless they're newer with like global warming and higher temperatures. So yeah, I definitely feel for you there with humidity based off my experiences in Japan with humidity. Yeah, I'm probably gonna wind down this stream because it's been a fairly long day of Carpoon over here. A little bit of going outside, but so yeah, I was born into it. Only reason not in Canada. No, that darn heart in the chat. It's like only reason I'm not in Canada, loving it up. Yeah, yeah. It's well, Canada. I think the healthcare isn't as great as it used to be. Yeah, I was born into it. Only reason I'm not in Canada, living it up. Yeah, I mean, Seattle is pretty close to what Vancouver is, but bigger and maybe more expensive, but uh, anywhere along the coast I find is expensive. Oh, motorcycle. I have to just check if just turning that off, if that's the thing that I'm thinking changes the image alpha. So you have only been to Victoria, Canada. So how long ago did you go to Victoria? Because that's more of a nicer, smaller city. Um, there are more people on Vancouver Island now, but definitely a bit touristy. That's where BC's parliament is. So 2011. Yeah, it's not too different these days. On the way to Alaska, yeah, that would have been nice. I can see them doing that. No, Victoria, when I went there, was nice, and there was Bouchard Gardens, and I remember even though we had fish and chips here in Steeson, they had fish and chips in the docks. You liked all the boat shops. Yeah, I would like those too. I don't go to Vancouver Island too often, or any of the islands near here, because the ferries they can be pretty busy. It's all right if you book in advance, or maybe like take a bus or a bike there. Um, Last I checked, it was also like the cost of a tank of gas for a ferry ride. But I remember as a kid going to Main Island all the time. Like we'd go about once a year, and that was the experience. Okay, so that was definitely what is needed to change. So something with this script. This is the last thing of the day. Then I'm gonna pass out playing a game or watching hockey. See, like drawing primitives. See, that's how you know I didn't do this. I could probably learn how to do that, but it's a lot easier just to find this thing to draw a ring. Your alpha's 1. I Okay, so I just never set the alpha to begin with, I think. That's my guess. Unless there's something inside. This is just now opening the Game Maker manual. Like this is drawing primitives. It might be a little bit more advanced in just setting the alpha, but I'll hope for it. That explains why it's a solid bright green. Oh, so yeah, I'm going to sleep too soon, so don't worry about. Oh, you caught Primarina in the Terra Raid Battle event Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Well, congratulations. And I hope you have a great night too. Thank you so much for dropping by. And you too, Hayden. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Okay, let's see. Is it transparent? Yeah, it's kind of transparent. That I can have it. I can make it get brighter as it goes. But I think I'm happy with that for now. Maybe even... It's just a little less harsh not being solid green, so... Yeah. Yeah, that'll be an easy thing to do next time. Well, that was another. I made it. I was a little bit tired earlier. Yeah, I think I'll end it at that. There was a lot of fixes today, and thank you, Aiden, for dropping by. Probably be back next week. Tom, I don't mind me asking, what's your favorite NES game? Okay. Well, that's still it's still gotta be Mario 3, and you gotta punch out a close second. Just before I wind up, yeah. I'm trying to think what would be third. Like, there's ones I liked, like Kirby, Star Tropics, Legend of Zelda. Like Legend of Zelda, the art isn't quite there compared to the other ones, but it's maybe like a deeper experience that's closer to what we're still playing today compared to the other ones. Zelda, so no, Zelda 2. I'm not a Zelda 2 guy because I didn't have it. Definitely, I am a Castlevania guy though. I had Castlevania 1 and 3. I didn't track down 2 for a long time, but Zelda 2 I didn't have. My cousin had Zelda 2, and I would watch him play. And I feel if he had that one hooked up to Game Genie, and so he had to leave the NES on forever. I knew he had to do that with Zelda 1 as well. So I kind of missed playing Zelda 1 as a kid. That's why when Shovel Knight came out, I'm like, oh, it's the pogo stick from DuckTales, and I wasn't like, oh, that's the drop from Zelda 2. But Castlevania, I made it to Frankenstein as a kid, and Castlevania 3, I think I got pretty deep, but I don't think I beat them. Yeah. So when you say it's so good, you mean Zelda 2? Like, from everything I hear, Zelda 2... Yeah, Frankenstein is hard, yeah. So Zelda 2 maybe got a bad rap when I was a kid. And maybe that was part of the reason why I didn't appreciate it as much. Because, like, oh, what's this side-scrolling? Like, this isn't Zelda. And then already, like, Link to the Past kind of went back to the first one's formula. So, and Link's Awakening. So yeah, that's probably why I never got into it too much. Contra and Super C, I played those. I would. There was a local store, so you haven't played A Link to the Past. So I didn't play it for a long time either. You'll see. Well, you've played A Link Between Worlds. Well, I like you even more already. That's what I prefer out of those two. They are pretty similar. They are kind of like, it is like a sequel to it almost. So, and just A Link Between Worlds has that unique shop mechanic where you're borrowing items at first. But yeah, super similar. No, but there would be like there's the local game shop and like a couple other places where they would sell Nintendo games for like $7 to maybe at most $20, which I guess was a lot back then, but that's what I would buy it at. Buy so many NES games at. So you see A Link to the Past as being more like what came after than before. Oh, curious. It's like what came after Zelda 2? I hear a lot of people calling it still like a almost a perfect game. Oh, like it found the formula. Yeah. So Ocarina of Time to Skyward is all Link to the Past. Yeah, that's because Link to the Past had a bit more story, and then a lot of Zeldas were similar. So maybe that's why I both love A Link Between Worlds. Just it was that much more different. Graphics, yeah, the graphics were basically perfect on a 3DS. I still love the Ask Iwata or whatever. Like they show the characters. Maybe it was Boundary Break. I don't know, but show the characters all leaning back at an angle to make it look right on the flat screen. Yeah. And you love Ocarina and Wind Waker, that style, yeah. Wind Waker is one I could probably play again. Like I was thinking the other day, sometimes with the old Zelda games like Ocarina of Time, I played through them so many multiple times I remember them well. Well, then as I got older, like I had less time and the Zeldas were longer, so I didn't play through them the same amount, and don't have that same memory for where everything is. And it's funny too, like with Wind Waker, kind of giving it a hard time at first because of the initial trailer, but they Nintendo held back a bit, and then like growing to love that style and like wishing. Fortunately, there were a few more on the handhelds, but wishing that I'd return to that style. It's a so it's a tough game to return to after large gaps. Yeah, maybe that was my problem. Um, so a tough game to return to. Is that A Link Between Worlds you're talking to, or about Wind Waker? Yeah, Wind Waker. I feel like could be explored again in a new game. Oh, definitely, because it's yeah the islands. I mean, look at Breath of the Wild. You could raise the water level in that, or like spread it out and take that depths. But you could like basically create a new world from that. That's what you hope Tears of the Kingdom would be. Yeah, because you're in the sky at first. You have the sky, and then you can go down the islands. Yeah, yeah, that's kind of what sky pebbles. But that's too part of why they had Skyward Sword remastered. It's like, oh, this makes sense now. This is why they're doing it. Not quite. Pi amount. How does pi amount? I'm gonna check. Sky pebble. That is a phrase they couldn't put on the back of the box. Yeah, the islands in Tears of the Kingdom just felt like shrines, but out in the open. Yep, I totally agree with that. They're just like little self-contained things. Some of them are a bit bigger. The very first one kind of makes it seem like they'll be bigger, but it's very rare. The one where you're climbing up a long ways with the bird guy, the bird kid, that one was kind of neat. But yeah, most of them very small, self-contained things, and a little bit better when I was flying through them. Yeah, it's sad that the first one is the biggest. Well, that's something with making games, right? Like, as cool as it is to have a really special final boss, I think most studios have to be realistic that, depending on the game length, a lot of people won't get past a certain point in the game, especially if it's hard. So a lot of people won't see it. At least there's YouTube, I guess now, or Twitch if they want to see it and can't make it. Between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, I think the Great Plateau is the best part of them. Perfect intro to me. Absolutely magical. Well, that's a great reminder for me just to play through it again. And you have to think that's kind of like nailing the first level of a Mario game, like Mario 1-1, going back to it, and making the perfect start to the game. Maybe since it isn't like a 1-1, we don't give it quite that same credit, or it's just bigger. Well, there's probably videos on it. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty quick to go back and do. It's probably a waste of speed. Run it quickly. Mario 1-2, such a good level too. It's amazing. Yo, yeah, I remember Mario 1-2, like going down the different lifts and stuff, being able to break the block and like run along the ceiling for warp pipes. You got the Koopas that you can. I think that's. I'm trying to remember. Do you have Koopas to break for coins? No, you have the little one that you have the block that comes down, and you can break it to get the secret block. Like all these little moments in the level that you kind of end up doing to teach you about different secrets in Mario. Yeah, it is right up there with 1-1. Like it's probably cooler in a way too. I guess being underground helps. I'm a Mario 3 guy. Mario 1 is beautiful in its design with its constraints. Yeah, I mean, Nintendo had got to learn so much more after by the time they made Mario 3, and probably had way more money. Mario 1 is just really hard, I think, compared to Mario 3. It's maybe not as accessible, but yeah, they did it. They did a great job with it at the time. Like you have to think a lot of NES games don't really hold up that well, but yeah, like the jumps. I always remember dreading the jumps in World 8. Like that one you have to kind of run down, touch one block, and then jump, and there's like one we have to do a big jump and then jump again, but not quite as far. Just and the Hammer Brothers, they look kind of mean in that game. Bowser, he looks mean with his pixels. It's the kind of one you want CRT for low latency. Yes, my CRT goal for after I finish Waves here, which is coming very close. So, a very nice reward. Okay, radius is got to be up to 1, I'm guessing. So I'm going to... Ring alpha plus... I don't know. Now I'm trying to think about some other good ones on NES that maybe I'm forgetting right now. I was watching a neat GDC talk the other day about tribute games making the new Shredder's Revenge Turtles game. And they were kind of saying, looking back at the old Turtles games for the timing of when enemies came out. And I played through... I never beat Turtles 1. I got to the Technodrome in that one. But Turtles 2 and 3 I beat. But like going back to it now, they probably wouldn't be as fun. Okay, Blaster Master, Mega Man. Yeah, I had Blaster Master. I had Ninja Gaiden. I had Mega Man's 1 through 3. I beat Mega Man 1 and 2 for sure. Mega Man 3 was later, I think. Dragon Quest 3 I missed. And I really wish I bought Dragon Quest 4. Like, I had Dragon Quest 1, and then I got 4. And then, like, so much had changed after 1, I was amazed. Well, Guardian Legend and Battle of Olympus, I haven't even heard of those ones. So I have some homework to do. Well, Gimmick, yes. Gimmick, that's one I have on Switch right now. Heberake, I actually have that on Famicom. So those are two that I can go to and revisit now and beat them. So I think those are like Gimmick. I think I would have liked a lot, but it's harder. Heberake is kind of it's a little bit easier to get used to. Yeah, I know it's on Steam. It's on my wish list to keep an eye out for when it's on sale again because I think it was close to $40. But I just love the idea that Sunsoft is back. Sunsoft Batman. Oh, is that the one with the wall jumping? Like I only rented it and played it at friends or like an arcade. It was so dark. Bubble Bubble. Yeah, I played that at friends' houses. That was a great multiplayer one. RC Program. That was another one at my cousin's house. Made by Rare. Another funny Rare one was Arch Rivals, a basketball game where you can pants your opponents, like you pull down their shorts. Gradius. Gradius is pretty good. Extremely hard if you lose the power up and those stupid Easter Island heads. I say that because I died at them. Kunio-ku games. Yeah, I found out about those ones later. Thanks to my friend. But the Famicom ones I saw. There's so many. There's like a sports volleyball one. Yeah, River City Ransom was one my friend raved about. Well, there's a lot of great games that we just didn't hear about here. Yeah, well, do you see that Sakurai video where he's talking about 1986 being the best year of all time for game series? Like, so many series came out that year, like Zelda and Castlevania. So it just went on and on and on and on. And there's so many Japanese companies back then. Like now, it kind of feels like outside of Nintendo, there's just Capcom and Bandai Namco. Well, yeah, I just watch it for the game tips, but basically, like the tips are making games. So he just lists so many from that year, 1986. He definitely does a good job having all sorts of different templates, and I guess he gets it edited by a different company for consistency, or just so it's the different graphics and stuff he adds in it are quite neat. I love the Smash Brothers hype train more than new games. I'm an N64 Melee guy. So, did you know the Japanese version of Melee? No, wait. No, N64. So, you're N64 Melee. So, the Japanese version of the N64 runs faster. Kid Icarus, and probably Melee is the most fun I had with friends in Smash Brothers back in that age. Kid Icarus, you gotta say, it's your You're left-handed, so it's kind of hard for me. Yeah, that's even worse than the problem everyone else had, where it just was uncomfortable. Yeah, I got day one. Okay, that makes more sense. This pi amount is getting set elsewhere. So you think Sakurai's a legend, but if I'm looking at his output the last decade and a half, it's not for me, to be honest. Brawl, I didn't like. Yeah, I didn't like Brawl. It only that's story mode. One of I think it's over a decade and a half now, but Meteos on DS, I like that one, especially the multiplayer mode. Obviously, he's a legend. Yes, god tier developer. He's also amazingly good at games. Like, there's some developers I run into, and they basically stop playing games, which I think is part of why you see like the circle of looking back for games to revisit, and because they just haven't played as much recently. That's what I think. Because game development obviously takes a lot of time for some people, so and then they have families and whatnot. Um, but Sakurai, he plays. He's like really good at the old games, and he's playing new stuff all the time still. There's got to be other developers like him out there. Like, it's just we don't hear about them because they're not as outgoing. So also another thing, I think Miyamoto is somehow underrated. People just criticize him for being too strict with Mario, but I think a lot of that is conjecture. He's the actual goat. Uh, yeah, I guess one thing now, it's hard to be a game creator and kind of be behind so many things because teams are so big. And but he did so many things in different series that were groundbreaking, or defining the 3D genre with Mario 64, or Z targeting, as I might say in Canada, Z targeting in Zelda 64. But then it was things like creating Pikmin, and people are like, Pikmin are like, not everyone liked it, or you hear things like having Donkey Kong having to like blow wind at the little flowers in Returns, and I think that's where some of the criticism comes from, because we haven't seen him make as many games lately. Pikmin, no, I love the first Pikmin. I'm just saying it wasn't what I don't think it's what people wanted from a new IP from him. And so basically, because we don't see him making new IP and stuff, he's really focused on the theme parks and movies right now. Um, that's where part of it comes in. Yeah, I think he's done making it. So he might have some input on the Switch too, but part of it is kind of like, yeah, and he's been for some time. Well, he kind of did everything. Like, how much does someone have to do? Maybe he'll go back to it. But also part of it might have been letting other people take the torch. So Nintendo is better off as a company. He doesn't say that outright, I think, but that could be part of it. He's just there for Nintendo stock. Oh, that's. I don't. I think it. I think it's more than that. I think he's to keep working at his age. He doesn't have to work anymore. I think he is. I think it's more than that. He could, if he. I guess Nintendo stock he can do whatever he wants. Remember when it plummeted when people thought he was leaving? Yeah, that could be part of the reason why they passed on so many things. I don't remember what year that was. I think he knows investors just want to know he's there. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's like the Berkshire Hathaway. There's Warren Buffett and there's Charlie Munger, and Charlie Munger passed away, but I guess they had enough spread across the company where it didn't really affect the stock from what I saw. But if Warren Buffett were to pass away, I think that would do something. So Miyamoto is kind of in that boat, although there's so I feel like Nintendo's done well in having like Aonuma and the team behind Mario Odyssey, like the I can see the name in my head, but I can't remember. It's the guy behind Mario Kart. Munger was kind of funny. Buffett too. Well, they're kind of weird and set in their ways. Like Buffett going, "Oh, I drink Coke every day." It's like, I know you're invested in Coke, but I'm pretty sure it's actually bad for you. I'm pretty sure that's been proven. But he's kind of like my grandma who just wanted to live off coffee and cigarettes forever. And then somehow live longer than my other grandparents. Okay, pi amount is that. What is the maximum time? I love cherry Coke, but it's so bad for you. Honestly, soda might be worse for you than straight beer. Yeah, yeah. I think you are partially right there. It's like why I like drinking coffee with no sugar. Like I think coffee's the one that's not bad for you if it's black. So we've been going over this coffee, guys. So I only drink Coke Zero. Like today was a nice sunny day. Yeah, you drink black coffee too. Yeah, it's great. So back in high school, I would get at least one liter Slurpee a week. It'd be like my friends and I were going on a bike ride, like we're getting a Slurpee, and we could have been so much healthier. Eventually, drinking Slurpees, like I just got tired of it. It was too sugary. So, and yeah, knowing Coke itself like isn't good for me, that's kind of why I stopped drinking Coke. I will still have Coke Zero sometimes, but not every day like what I used to. Max time, seconds to start. It's 1.1. That can kind of work. Yeah, it makes me feel bad at 10 minutes, but it's so tasty. So that's kind of what happened to me with Slurpees. Like, just the amount of it, I would feel bad. So I couldn't keep going anymore. Okay, this is gonna be 0.4. I want to do pi amount divided by 3. No, wait, I can do bar pi ratio amount divided by the max time. Then that'll be like out of 1. So that'll be easier. I need to conserve battery. Yes, so I gotta go. I know you're winding down anyway, so I'll keep you in power situation. Yeah, thank you. I wish you the best of luck over there to have it back soon. Yeah, definitely. You gotta keep your power for emergency calls and stuff. That's with your, family and stuff. It's almost like a horror game. I don't know. Thank you so much for dropping by. I think I might be done too. Let's see. That's a little quick. Maybe. I think I can adjust that. Let's just see what happens if I do that for now. Did I set the variable inside? Yeah. Oh, it's getting light out super late. That'll be nice for biking in the evenings. So I kind of rather bike in the morning early before there's traffic. There's less crazy people then. And you don't have to worry about getting dark. Oh, I see. It's kind of... That's a nice effect, though. I'm gonna try just 0.2. 0.2 and maybe, I don't know, divide by 3. I kind of want the meter to be, when you hit it, like, go up and down and smoothly, but it's another counter to put somewhere. The main thing is so when you hit it, it goes right away. Does that look any different than before? This is I'm missing Game Maker Live for this to be able to change it on the fly. Five, 3. There, you gotta go big with the changes. See if there's a difference. I might be able to catch the tail end of hockey. Yeah, it's not as good. Okay, I'll go with 1, 7. That was a little dark. I'll leave it at that for now, but thank you so much for everyone dropping by. It's been Carpoon Devstream 5. I'll probably do another one next week, if not early in the week, but it's nice to get most of the feedback in, and I'll be working on just the second half of the waves for the AutoWorks and finishing off the rest of the Frames of Gold car. So hopefully the waves should be done next week for testing. Fingers crossed, that'll be a big milestone. All right, have a great Sunday, Mother's Day, everyone. Goodbye.